Hi everyone, hope you're all doing well. It's a beautiful summer day here in Central California, so I thought I would color in this rainy London scene in the Europa book by Rita Berman while I answer the questions from the mid-year review tag. Now I've seen this video done by several other colorists and I got mixed information about where it started. So either it was completely created by Sassy Coloring or it's a tweak of a different one by Sassy Coloring, and I'm not sure which is true, but either way Sassy Coloring was involved. So she also did another one, the last video that I did, the mid-year freakout tag, and some of the questions in this one were the same as that one, so I'm gonna skip those. I'll tell you which ones they are, but if you didn't see my last video and you want to know the answer to those questions that I'm going to skip today, I will leave it linked at the end, so it'll be easy to go and see that one next. So yeah, this is my traveling book. Normally I only do this when I'm at Starbucks or traveling, but my other projects they're either almost done and I need to concentrate on what I'm doing with them, and I'm not ready to start another page, so I'm just gonna do this one. Hope that's okay. But let's get started. The first question is, did you set yourself a goal in the first 6 months? And I have to say no, not really. I don't normally actually make like official, like quantifiable goals. If I do anything, it's like what I've done in the past, it's more like I'd like to maybe this year try to learn how to do light sources better, but it's not like I say I'm going to do one every month until I get it right. It's just kind of a loose idea. I don't do that all the time, and I didn't do that for the first half of this year too much. Other than that, I wanted to maybe dabble in some kind of water soluble medium, but it wasn't really a goal. It was just an idea. But I will say for the second half of this year, while I still don't have specific heavy goals, I do have some things that I would like to be a little more intentional about, and that is to be more intentional with the water soluble stuff, because I just bought a set of the Derwent Inktense on Amazon Prime Day. So in the past, I just had gotten a couple of a few open stocks just to experiment to see if I liked them, and I did. So that I definitely don't want to waste that purchase. And I'm going to sharpen this real quick. So I will be more intentional about doing some work with those in the next half of this year. And the other two are related to my YouTube channel here. I'm still kind of experimenting with what kind of videos I like to make and how much a part of my life I can make them right now. But I haven't done a ton, but I would like to maybe figure out how to get a little more consistent and do a few more things without losing my joy in coloring, because so I don't intend to make this a business, but by any means, but I do like the social aspect of it, so I would like to figure out some other types of videos that I can make, some more maybe tutorials or more tags like I'm doing now or something. But actually the one thing I do miss is live streams. I was really active on another platform which doesn't exist anymore, and there's something about the live streaming community that I just don't get from just making videos and just posting on Instagram. So I know that the coloring community will be the live streaming aspect is a little different on YouTube than it was on the platform I used before, but there's got to be a way to make it work. So expect, without holding myself too accountable, expect to see some attempts at those in the coming months, and I hope you will join me. It won't be anything too crazy. I just miss chatting with people. So if you like to just have something on the screen while you're coloring and listen to chit chat, I don't know if I'll make it where I'm doing a tutorial or just something like I'm doing now where there's a topic, or we just chat and see what's going on with people that week. I don't know, but I definitely miss the give and take a little bit of the live streams. So I want to experiment with that a little bit. I do have a platform, a software platform that I can have more people on screen with me, more than just me. So that would definitely help with the chatting aspect. So yeah, I'm going to experiment with that a little bit more. So that is if I had a goal, those are my goals, even though, like I said, they're not quantifiable. So they're just ideas. So the next question, actually, these first three are like a three-part first question. The next part is, if you count pages, how many pages have you done? And this is something you guys don't know about me, but I kind of get obsessed with meaningless statistics. And I can get caught up in the charting and the keeping track and the just seeing a record of things. And that's why I will never get too much into bullet journaling, because I will spend all my time making the journal, making it pretty, and obsessing over the stats, and I will do that so much that I won't have time to do the thing that I intended to keep the stats on. So all that being said is, I have a spreadsheet on my app on my phone. Well, I'm just using the built-in, I think it's Google Sheets or something, but so I have a few different charts on there, but the one I use the most is where I keep track of coloring pages. So right now I have done 52 this year, and if you count this one, it's 53, but I didn't count it at first because it's not on the chart yet, because I don't really count it until these are both done. But so 52, 53 so far. And I also on there that's how I also keep track of this book, because my goal is to finish this book. So I keep track of how many pages I've done in this book. So I've done, oh shoot, I didn't look it up, but of the 92 pages in this book, I think I'm around, this will be maybe 54 and 55 and 56, something like that. I'll look up the real number and put it on the screen. But so I do keep those stats, and I started another spreadsheet to keep track of which pencils work well in each book. So I have a little, all my books, well, as I color them, I haven't put them all in there, but luminance work bad, black Odas work good. And sometimes even within a brand, there are some formulations of the pigment where almost all the pencils work really well, but there's one that just for whatever reason doesn't work. So I'm going to keep track of those just so I can answer questions in the future, or if I'm want to color in a book, I know I can remember which pencils work well in it. So yeah, I can get a little obsessed with charting. And that will lead into the third question is, how was the first half of your year? And overall, it's been great. I just color for the fun of it, and I've mostly been able to just do that and enjoy the process and have a lot of fun. Some of my pages have been really simple, some of them have been more complicated, but they've all been fun. Now that I kind of know my style, and I've learned not to worry too much about trying to turn myself into anyone else, I can say almost every page is fun. So that's a blessing. But I did experience in this, here I have a visual aid in this, because I did start like a minimal little journal. I'm not going to get any more complicated in this, a couple months ago, just to keep track of, because I started doing, like finished pages, completed pages for each month videos, and this was a good way to keep track of it as the month went. So then when I got ready to do the video, I have a nice handy list. So it's been great. I mean, this is only my 3rd month doing it, but I did find a few weeks ago, especially with this summer, it's like a scavenger hunt color along, where in order to finish this this tag, you had to color 30 of these 45 items. So I started out marking, had a little code for like this book. I covered like 15 of those items or whatever. So at the end, I'll know that when I got it done. But what I found myself doing then is I finished this page where I got so many of them done, but I still had almost half of them that I needed to find. And so I was stressing over finding a page that would solve as many of these, to find as many of these as possible. So I found a page that would get me like 5 or 6. I was trying to be productive with my time because I only have like a week and a half left and I have a bunch, so how am I going to do it? But the page that I found was like, it wasn't speaking to me. It was fine. There wasn't anything wrong with it. But I'm in this for the fun, and I wanted to enjoy it. And I just looked at the page and like, I would be coloring that only to finish this color along. Is that what I want out of my coloring hobby? And I decided that it wasn't. So I moved on and I felt so much better. So that's just an encouragement to you that color alongs, color alongs are fine. They're fun. But for me, they can't be the motivation. So I started this, when I started this little journal thing in May, I started with a list I'm still done, of all of the potential color alongs that I could do in the month, so that in case I got finished with a page and couldn't quite figure out what I wanted to do next, I could look at this page and see if anything spoke to me. And that worked really well the first 2 months. Like in May, I contributed to all of the color alongs, like 13 of them. I did color like a ton of pages in May for whatever reason. But and then last month I only contributed to 4 color alongs because I only did 5 pages. 6, maybe one of those was a double page, but so, it was no big deal. But I found myself, like I said, for this one, starting to really stress over trying to get as many of these done as possible, so that when I did my finished pages video, I would have a lot of things to tell you. And but when I decided not to do that and just stick to my regular habit of coloring what speaks to me, I was so much happier. So that is an experience I had. I'm going to count it as the first half of the year, even though technically it was in July. But I'm filming this in the middle to endish of July. So it's been my first half of the year experience, and that's been very informative to me for going forward, to remember that I'm in this for having fun. And just to encourage you also, some people are more competitive than others, and they really get a charge out of completing a task, but and that's great. But I would say if it becomes a stress, or if if it becomes just pressure, whether you're doing those coloring hashtags or doing a certain number of buddy colors or getting a technique just right and trying to look like somebody else, I see a lot of, then that's where it's maybe getting a little out of balance, because art is supposed to be a fun expression of creativity and learning new things. I see a lot of comments in I'm only in a couple of Facebook groups, but I see a lot of comments about people get so discouraged when they see other people's wonderful work because I always do it wrong and I'll never be good. And that really makes me sad, because we're all so different, and the way I color will drive other people crazy, and sometimes the way other people color drives me crazy, but it's all different and it's all good. So if you can find the part of the process that you love, whether it turns out like anyone else's or not, is not the point. It's actually more that not the point. It's not supposed to turn out like anyone else's. I like to learn new techniques too, and I will copy like tutorials and things just to see, but if ultimately the process doesn't bring me joy and makes me stressed, I know that's not going to fit my style, and so I let it go. Chris Chang is wonderful, and I love her work, but that will never be my style, because while the result is beautiful, I may have told you, mentioned this to you before, while the result is beautiful, there are so many layers, and I can't handle it. And I also will never abandon a page. So before I finally came to terms with this, there have been a couple of pages where I have been trying to learn her layering and bokeh techniques and things, and before I'm halfway done, I'm so fed up and I'm ready to be done that it's just a chore to get it done. So anyway, all that being said, that was how the first half of my coloring year went. I kind of had a realization about the keeping track of the color alongs, so it wasn't for me. So hopefully some encouragement for you too. Okay, so the next question is one I'm not going to answer. It's my favorite image that I have colored this year, and I answered that in my last video. So again, check the link at the end. And the same thing, the book most colored in is also in that video. So we're going to skip that one. Okay, the last book that you got and why was this one right here. And why did I get it? Well, just look at it. Like how cute those little faces are. All the things have faces, whether they're alive. Look, see, the fruit has faces, and the acorns have faces, and the donuts have faces. And so that's the main reason why I got it, because I don't normally color, okay, is it mandalas? Mandalas? I need to look that up. This is the second video where I've had to say that. But, because normally I don't like the repetitive nature of them. But I discovered that every page in that book has 8 sections, and I have 8 sets of pencils. Well, 9 now if I count the Derwent, but the Inktense, but I probably won't use that in that book anyway. So for the first page that I colored in there, I used all of my each pencil, and I did one segment per pencil just to see which pencils worked best in that book. And actually that was a lot of fun. I didn't stress over like trying to make it match exactly. Here, let me get it out. But oh nope, I'm gonna leave that in the finished pages section. I didn't try real hard to make everything matchy perfectly. I just tried to find the best blue combination or the best aqua or whatever, and it really ended up remarkably similar in all of those. So I was happy about that. So that is why I got that book, because I didn't have another Amanda book, and it's just so darn cute. Okay, the next question I'm going to skip also. Did I find a new artist or publisher that I liked? And I did, but I answered that in the last video, so I'm going to skip that. Okay, this next question is my favorite or most used pencils, supplies, or tools. And I have to say, well, I always only use pencils. I would say 98% of my books, my pages are only pencil. I don't get into a lot of the white and the gel and the stickles and all of those. I mean, I do like some sparkles every once in a while, but for the most part, it's always just pencils. And out of all of the pencils, I couldn't really identify which pencils I used the most. I really do think I use them all. I mean, there's a couple that I know were least, the Erosion and the Luminance, just because they're so different in some pages, they just don't work well in, but I have used them all. But then I did wonder, is that a new stat I should keep in my journal? I mean, I do write down which pencils I use so that when I do my end of the year video, I can tell you what I used on it, but I haven't started keeping track of, like, I did 3 pages with Prismacolor and 1 with Black Widows, and so I could keep a running total of those, perhaps. We'll see. Like I said, I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole of keeping stats, otherwise I will spend all my time keeping stats. So it's always pencils, but I don't, for my favorite but I can't identify which is a favorite pencil. Supplies or tools, I don't use a ton. My Derwent Super Point sharpener is what I usually use on my pencils, but like this set that I love that. That saved my Prismacolors from breakage. So happy I started using it. But when I use this traveling palette, because I have this limited palette of 24 pencils, where'd it go? Oh, because I used it. I just used this little Staedtler. I can't tell if it's in focus or not, but this little Staedtler sharpener, and if I can find it, if I can find the link I used to buy it with, I'll link it down below. But that works great. It's got a couple of sizes, and my luminance will fit in here because I don't fit in the Derwent. And then the other thing I do actually use a lot, and it fits in my little traveling, roll-up case right here, which is filthy dirty because I use it so much, but is the Tombow Mono Zero eraser pencil, because you can get in all the teeny tiny crevices with those. So those, I would say, are probably my most used supplies, is those two sharpeners and that eraser. So yeah, like I said, I don't use a lot, only because I want to spend my time coloring and not buying supplies, and it's better on the pocketbook to not use too many supplies. Did you discover any new YouTube channels this year? And I have a hard time like keeping track of timelines if there's not some kind of other like landmark around it. So there's a couple of that I think are new. Well, Liz at Home is one I know I've discovered this year, just not too long ago, maybe a month or two ago. And then the only other one that I can think of that was maybe this year was Shell's Coloring Journey. Both of them are phenomenal colorists, and they make great videos, and they're lovely to listen to. But I can't remember how long ago I discovered Shell's Coloring Journey. So like if I would have discovered her because of the Christmas color along she did, then that would help me know it was in December, but I don't have anything. I don't know. I don't have a landmark, so I don't remember when, but I'm going to count it just because she's newer and to me, and I just love them both. So Liz at Home and Shell's Coloring Journey are both ones I would recommend. Okay, so then the next question is another 3-part question. First part is any new techniques that you tried? And at first my answer was not really. But then when I started looking back through my Instagram posts to find the answer to one of the next parts of this question, I thought, oh, well, I did do a couple of things, and not like hardcore tests, but I did, as part of my water-soluble experiments, I did a page in one of Clara Markova's books, where I did a, oh shoot, I didn't pull it out. It's the mermaid one. I will put the image right here, where I did like a Neocolor 2, just a really light coloring all the way over the whole page before I colored anything, and then I activated it and got a real light blue, kind of an aqua-y blue color wash over the whole thing, just to try to help it look underwater, since I've always struggled with making things look underwater. And then once it dried, then I colored the page, and it worked okay. I think it did help lend a little bit of a blue cast to the page overall, but I didn't love trying to pick colors to color over the top of it. For some reason that it played with my mind a little bit, so that was tricky. So I probably next time will try the opposite, where I'll color a page first and then do the Neo 2 over the top, or maybe I'll do that experiment with my Derwent Inktense. I don't know. I have a feeling that would be too much, but the Neocolor 2 is easy just to make a really light wash. So that was one new thing I tried, even though it was just one little experiment on one little page, but I guess that counts. And then, oh, I tried a technique in my Color It book where, let me find a piece of paper, where I tried to, in the water, because it was like this pond, and I just did a few different colors of blue like this, you know, over the top of each other, all around you to kind of simulate movement. I just did this over and over, all over, you know, like this. And so that was interesting. It kind of turned out a little abstract-y, you know, kind of like that. So it definitely gave it a little different texture. I don't know if I'd ever do it again, but that, I will say, that was a new technique I experimented with. So and that was it, though, really. Mostly I just color. But I'm going to use this now so I don't get pigment on my hand. So then the next part of this question is, did you do any color alongs? And yes, I actually did a lot. I did many, and so a lot too many to list. So maybe I will cover that in my end of the month video. Well, I do. So if you want to see what I did in May and June, you can at least go see my first 2 monthly recap videos that I've ever done. But I did a lot. But I actually did my very own color along. I've only done 2 in my whole coloring career. So I did the Birthday Blues 23, I think is what I called it, in the month of May, because that's my birthday month, and blue is my favorite color. So I had a ton of entries for that. So that was great fun to do that one of my very own. So if you want to see all of those, they're in a post on my Instagram feed, and I'm Tanya Colors there too, if you want to find me there to see those. But that was fun hosting my own. And then the third part of this question is, did you do any buddy colors? And I actually thought I did more, but when I looked back, I actually only have done 2. With Jen's coloring in February, I did, let's see, this one. So that was very much fun. And then I liked trying to make the wings a little transparent. You can see them a little bit. So yeah, that was fun. And then I did, just not too long ago, just like a couple weeks ago maybe now, I did this one with coloring Bumblebee, and that was very fun too. So yeah, so those are the only 2, and I'm open to more. No pressure. If you don't mind simple coloring, well, my coloring simple, yours wouldn't have to be, but yeah, no pressure. But if you want to do one, let me know. Just either comment here or find me on Instagram. It's easier to message on Instagram than here. So yeah, if you want to do a buddy color going forward, I have one in the works that's actually a video collaboration. So I've never done one of those before, so that will be fun. But I'm not sure when we're going to get done with that one, so I won't hype it too much. Oh, I guess that is actually it for the questions that I haven't answered on this little tag. The next 2 I covered in the last video. The next one is they're a new, the most anticipated release this year. So is there a book coming up that you can't wait for? And so I answered that in the other one. And then any purchases, and I can't remember if it was any purchases that you would rather not have bought, any regrets that of things that you bought now, once you got it, you wished you hadn't. And I answer that one in the other video too. So I will list that video that I'm specifically talking about up here, and then I'll list the playlist where I have all of my, well, I think I only have 3 now, but all of the videos where I'm answering questions in tags like this. I have them all grouped together just to help organize them. So I'll link that one on the bottom. So I'll have 2 hopefully in here somewhere. But other than that, hope you have a great day. I hope you're coloring something that's bringing you joy, and I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.